In the 1800s, the Turks feared that the Armenians would one day want freedom and autonomy. Out of envy and greed, the Armenians were ruthlessly massacred for political, economic, and religious reasons. But the Turco-German alliance brought in a new brand of intolerance: racial stereotyping. Many in the German ruling class and military thought Armenians were an inferior race, hindering German plans in Turkey. Ewald Banse concluded that the Armenians should be eliminated from the face of the earth. The Armenians were racially weaker than the Turks, argued Friedrich Naumann. The weaker nation must succumb. The Armenians are 9 times worse than the Jews, said the German general Bronsart von Schellendorf, chief advisor to the Turkish military.
They also developed an ethnic stereotype, the racist notion that the Armenians were the Jews of the Orient, sucking the blood of the Ottoman economy, like they accused the Jews were doing in Germany. The German officer corps, largely anti-Semitic in its views, readily accepted the notion of the bad Armenian.
The Germans' racism and the Turks' political fear of the Armenians made for a lethal mix. Genocide, 1915. Most of the Armenians in Turkey were annihilated, brutally killed in the streets where they were born, driven to the secret places of the mountainside, and starved in the desert wastelands. The carnage was inhuman, barbaric, total. It rolled as an angry wave over the Armenian people.
The poor virgin girls, they took them away. Poor, poor things. We were crying and wailing. We pleaded with God. You must not forget our cries, our tears. They laid us on the sand, and the dead bodies strewn about. We walked over the corpses, hungry, thirsty, no food to eat, nothing to wear. We were going where they were taking us. I don't know. I don't know. What does it all mean?
Europeans and Americans witnessed the massacres. In her diary entry of July 10th, 1915, American medical missionary Tacey Atkinson stated who she thought was responsible for the genocide unfolding in Turkey.
Among the Turks and Armenians both, it seems to be pretty well known that this thing is from the Germans. We all know that such clear-cut, well-planned, and well-carried-out work is not the method of the Turk. The German, the Turk, and the devil make a triple alliance not to be equaled in the world for cold-blooded hellishness.
On the brink of World War, though, the story had yet to unfold. Constantinople, the Ottoman capital. Armenians are at the peak of a cultural renaissance on the eve of the First World War. Gometas Vartabed, the celebrated Armenian composer, held concerts with a choir of 300. They performed the classics: Beethoven, Mozart, and Schubert.
Constantinople has not seen anything like this. To the concerts came not only Armenians, Turks also came. The diplomats and officials of Great Britain, France, and all of the other countries came. Also came, aside from other Turks, Talat Pasha, the greatest murderer of the Armenians. This man, who had mastered a few words of Armenian, would come and say, "Good evening, sirs. Good evening, ladies." I could see it from above where I was sitting, because I could only afford lower-priced seats, and I would look down. And this man, with mockery and in his heart forming his schemes, outwardly with a smile, he would put the Armenians to sleep.
Talat would soon get his chance. With the assassination in Sarajevo of Austrian Crown Prince Franz Ferdinand in June 1914, the world was now at war, a cover for Turkish designs. Soon Russian and Turkish troops were locked in deadly combat. Battling snow and ice, there were massive losses on both sides. The defeated and humiliated Turks took their revenge on Armenian civilians. United States Ambassador Henry Morgenthau wrote about the slaughter in the area of Van.
The Turks' army turned their weapons upon the Armenian women, children, and old men. This procedure was repeated in about 80 Armenian villages, and in 3 days, 24,000 Armenians were murdered.
The Armenian elite in Constantinople was greatly concerned. On April 23rd, they met in an emergency meeting. They decided to do everything to assure the Ottoman government of their loyalty. On April 24, the Armenian Patriarch, Zavin, visited Talat and told him, "We will be loyal."
Rebuffed by the Turkish leaders, the frightened Armenians appealed to the Germans. Baron Hans von Wagenheim was the German ambassador in Constantinople. He refused to help. Sometime later, Wagenheim called the Armenians vermin. "I shall do nothing whatever for the Armenians," he told U.S. Ambassador Henry Morgenthau. At midnight, the Ottoman government sent its police force to arrest the Armenian leaders in Constantinople. Among them was composer Kamidas Vatebed. The Turks missed high school teacher Varam Eretzian, who had been away on holiday.
On the morning of April 24th, I left home to go to the school. Along the way, I noticed that there was a sadness on the faces of the Armenians. I figured that something had happened, but I